Good evening. Welcome back to my channel. And today I would like to talk about specifically a technology called e-ink. Back in 1997 at MIT, I believe a bunch of undergraduates along with their professors developed this technology called e-ink in which it was really quite a leap forward. So much so that the initial publication was actually released in a very, very prestigious scientific journal. And as this technology was unveiled and further developed and commercialized, these days we all know it very well because it's in our ebooks. So whether it's Amazon or the Barnes and Noble Nook, etc. And of course there are many other brands out there. E-ink has been the standard bearer for e-readers. And well, I myself, to be honest, because when I grew up, I didn't have e-readers. I read everything from a book. I still felt and feel better about using a soft cover or a hardcover book, and to be able to flip through the pages, to be able to, like if I were studying, to mark it up, to highlight it, etc., etc. And while e-ink readers do try to mimic some of those things to give you the opportunity to put notes on there, it just doesn't feel the same as holding a piece of paper and going through it. Now, of course, environmentally, obviously, if it does reduce the amount of need for paper, that of course is a good thing. But I'm not here to talk about a specific brand or my preferences on Kindle versus the Nook, etc., etc. But really my surprise as to why e-ink never developed further. And here, for example, is my Amazon Kindle. This is third generation, released in 2010. The Kindle Keyboard, as it's called for obvious reasons. You could type on it, not a touchscreen. E-ink, of course, black and white. I think I'm on a page of a classic War and Peace. And to advance and pages or to go backwards on pages, you just touch these buttons on either side, depending on whether you're lefty, righty, or just how you're holding it. And the nice thing about e-ink is it has an incredibly long battery life, unlike our cell phones, which constantly needs charging. I think the initial claim was something like 30 days or something on a charge. Hold thousands of books potentially, depending upon, of course, how large the book is. Used to joke that it could hold 3,000 books for one copy of War and Peace, but truthfully, it holds more than one copy of War and Peace. But nevertheless, really, I thought as e-ink started developing that it would be something that would be put into modern display screens. I mean, certainly it's much more useful outdoors in terms of glare. Actually, the more sunlight, the more readable this thing is, and it's really acts like paper. The unfortunate thing is it hasn't taken off, except for signages and the ebooks that we all know and love by the different companies. The only other commercially successful venture into e-ink, and this was color e-ink, and this was supposed to be the next big generation. I remember in 2010 or thereabouts when I got my Kindle, thinking, well, can't wait till they come out with a color e-ink Kindle, and that would be cool because I could read magazines. I do subscribe to certain magazines, and I could see it in color. But that never happened. Why is that? I'm not really sure. In 2015, a company called Pebble released a smartwatch. I think it was called the Pebble Time, and it was again very much a 2010 2015 type of phenomenon, where now we have Kickstarters and GoFundMe, these kind of different things these days to help people raise money, because we're so socially connected electronically now. And they were actually able to raise the money through Kickstarter, start a company, develop a product that was sold to many people that looked to be really quite a fantastic product with long battery life, a smartwatch that did quite a bit. I never personally owned one, but in 2018 it pretty much went out of existence. I believe at some point around that time Fitbit bought the company out, and Pebble Time, the smartwatch, you probably still could find it on eBay or something, but at this point really it's gone. And so for really 3 years, my goodness, that's a short time, color e-ink was an application, but really the standard bearer still to this day is things like my Amazon Kindle and or the Nook, i.e. e-readers. So I always wondered as to why this never happened, and I'm curious as your thoughts as to why e-ink never developed any further. I'm not a physicist, and I don't work in technology, and so so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert and explain as to why the limitations of this technology did not allow it to go any further. But I really had followed this with great interest throughout the years, thinking that this would be the next best great thing. And for ebooks, it really has been, but nothing else. And that's very strange to me. But anyways, there's a lot of strange things in life, I guess. Nevertheless, I do think, hoping that companies will continue to develop e-ink, especially color e-ink, because I can think of so many applications, and because of its low power consumption, it really, I mean, could you imagine smartphones that you'd only have to charge once every 30 days? That would be incredible, but that hasn't happened. So actually, those of you who have seen my videos, and of course I appreciate that. I always wear these shirts that say "Be the Light," and just to give it a background as to why I wear the shirt, it really has a biblical meaning to it, and I'm going to read this from the King James Version so I don't misquote it, but it's Matthew 5:14 through 16. "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine forth before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Anyways, whether you're a Christian or not, I think it's an uplifting message, and actually the Bible is something you could get on the ebook as well, so not completely off topic, but anyways, just wanted to give a little context as to why I wear this shirt a lot during these videos. Thank you for visiting again, and you have a good night.